Hi everybody, Penny here. Welcome to my kitchen. So this week we're going to do no-bake peanut butter squares. And they're super easy. So step number one, of course, wash your hands. We don't have to preheat the oven because it's a no-bake recipe. And you're going to need a 9 by 13 pan. And we're going to grease it or butter it. So as you've seen me done before, I use a sandwich baggie because I don't want to get my hands full of butter. But that's just me. If you don't mind getting your hands in the butter or the oil or the spray, whatever you normally use to grease your pans, that's all fine and good. It's all good. Okay, so that's, ta-da, done. So we'll lay that aside. Just lay that right here. And we're going to have a large pot big enough to hold 7 cups of Rice Krispies. So that's what this recipe calls for. 7 cups of Rice Krispies. And then everything else is 1 cup. 1 cup of brown sugar, 1 cup of peanut butter, and it also calls for 1 cup of either golden syrup or honey. And I don't have quite enough of golden syrup, so we're going to use a little bit of both. And this is not even opened yet, so Barry's going to open that for me while we get everything else underway. So what I want to show you too is when you're measuring a liquid, you should always use a glass see-through cup. This is a liquid measuring cup. These types of measuring cups are for dry ingredients. Now with this recipe, you can also add 1 cup of chocolate chips, which we have, or raisins, or your favorite nuts, or coconut, or whatever you would like to kind of roll in with the Rice Krispies. It's totally up to you. You're not going to see the chocolate chips in here though, because I'm going to melt them with the peanut butter and the sugar, so there'll be chocolate all throughout instead of, thank you Barry, instead of chocolate chips per se. So when you're measuring something sticky, like honey, golden syrup, molasses, agave syrup, those types of things, a cool little trick is to line your measuring cup with a little bit of oil. Make sure it all gets around there. There we go. And then put your syrup or molasses or honey, like I said, whatever it is that you're measuring. And this will take a minute because, of course, it's, as they say, as slow as molasses, although this isn't molasses. Okie dokie. So we're looking for 1 cup of the golden syrup and or honey. You could use molasses in here, but I don't know if molasses and peanut butter necessarily go well together. But if you like that combination, go for it. This takes a while. Okie dokie. Let's move on to the honey. And there we go. So we need 1 cup, and honey and peanut butter, like Winnie the Pooh says, goes perfectly together. And there is our 1 cup. So now I'm going to pour this into the pan. And you see how easy that came out? That's because of the oil. That little bit of oil in your cup makes a world of difference. So I'm going to turn on our burner, just on low, and I'm going to add the sugar, 1 cup of brown sugar, and we're going to stir for a few minutes until that's all nice and melted. And then we're going to add the peanut butter. So when you're doing this, as you can see, I have a more or less a flat stirring utensil, wooden spoon, but it's not really a spoon because it's flat. Because you want to make sure that you get all the ingredients up from the bottom. And if you're doing that with a wooden spoon, it's not touching the bottom of the pot, and some may burn. Now we're not looking to cook this, we're just looking to melt the sugar until it gets nice and liquidy. And I'll show that to you in just a second. Doesn't take very long at all. I'll turn it up just a smidge. It starts to bubble a little bit. This is a great recipe for the summer, because you don't have to turn your oven on. You could even do this in the microwave if you wanted to, stirring it several times during the few minutes that you put it in. So, are we bubbling? Almost. Almost. Oh, it's getting nice and liquidy now. We're getting there. So once we have this all nice and melted, there she goes. Once it's nice and melted, like I said, we'll add the peanut butter. Then we'll add our chocolate chips. And then in the same pot, we're going to add the 7 cups of Rice Krispies. There she goes. There we are. Done. Quick as that. Okay. On a wooden cutting board, or if your counter can handle hot pots, make sure you check that it can. If not, you'll end up scorching your counter. So make sure you're very careful about that, okay? So I don't know if you can see how nice and liquidy that is. So now we're going to add our peanut butter, and our peanut butter will just melt from the residual heat, or it should anyway. There we go. There's all our peanut butter. Just lay that aside. And stir that in. See, it's just melting from the residual heat. There you go. Keep stirring it around until it's all combined and melted. There we are. Yay! And now that's all melted together. See? All melted together. Now I'm going to throw in our chocolate chips. Ta-da! And we're not necessarily looking for them to melt, but they will anyway. Okay, look at that. Woohoo! I could just eat that with a spoon. However, we have to throw in our Rice Krispies. So all 7 cups go in the pot, and making sure we get up from the bottom, we're going to start mixing those up. And this will take a minute, of course, because it's very sticky. Unfortunately, this is not a recipe where you can reduce the sugar, because we need all that sugar and syrupy goodness and honey goodness and peanut butter goodness, chocolate goodness, to get this to all combine and make peanut butter crispy squares. Whew, it's a workout. Get it all up from the bottom. Turn your pot around so you get all sides. There we go. There we go. And now, oops, back in the pot. We are going to put that into our greased 9 by 13 pan. And then we're going to put it in the fridge for about a half an hour. And then we'll be able to cut them. So I'm going to press these in the pan. And we will be back shortly.
Oh.
Hi everybody, I'm back. So we put them all in our greased pan, pressed them down and chilled them for about a half an hour. And there you have it. I'm going to call these ones chocolate peanut butter Crispies. Enjoy! Bye!